That's right, it's another Pokemon hack. I'm Warbane. In this video I'm going to talk about the Pokemon ROM hack, Pokemon Liquid Crystal. Released in 2009, Pokemon Liquid Crystal is a ROM hack of Fire Red. It's a remake of Pokemon Crystal, originally released on Gameboy Color in 2001. Now there is another hack called Shiny Gold version, which is a remake of Gold, but I haven't played that one so I can't compare the two, but I will be making comparisons to Fire Red Omega. In Pokemon Liquid Crystal, you're back to the nostalgia-filled Johto and Kanto regions. New graphics, music, rivals, and locations. Compared to the original, there are a few differences. The most interesting in my opinion would be the new rivals. You got the usual red-headed guy who doesn't treat his Pokemon with love and respect, and because of that he always loses. But then there's Axel. He's from some distant region. Axel was chasing down Team Saturn, and he seems to know the leader. The third and last rival is Zane. He seems like a really friendly guy. I don't remember a whole lot about him though. I think after Elite Four, you'll get to see Zane and Axel a bit more, and even go to the region that Axel was from, which is really cool because if anything, Zane and Axel didn't really have enough dialogue, or I want to know more about them basically. They seem pretty interesting. There are no areas, but I didn't find them to be too amazing or useful. They did look nice, I guess. There's a few new routes, like you can surf from Cherry Grove City to Union Cave, and from Goldenrod City to the Whale Islands, and vice versa, which is pretty cool. Although I do find the encounter rate to be too high when in the water. Like at times, all I've done is just turn a different direction after a battle, and then boom, another battle straight away. It's ridiculous. The new gags are really good, but strangely, there are areas where the game graphics stay true to the original, and it's just jarring and doesn't fit in with the rest of the game. This is mostly in the gyms. I don't know if they're going for a nostalgia look, but the old colours and the tile sets just don't fit in with the rest of the game. Weather effects have been added into the game, but mostly I didn't really like them. There's a lightning effect, but I think it either makes the frame rate drop or the emulator slow down. There seemed to be some slowdown, and then it was also always raining for me. Apparently the game uses Japanese weather patterns, so I'm guessing it was raining all the time because of what month it was. I came across some bugs. First ones were just small graphical bugs, some problems with layers, which I was fine with. There was one game-breaking bug which I found pretty interesting, where I was sorting out my Pokemon on my PC, and I came across an invisible egg. So I put it in my party and then exited the PC. As soon as I did that, the game crashed. So I was like, damn, wonder what it was. When I first visited Mahogany Town, where the second to last gym leader is, and that town connects to Lake of Rage, I went into the building that has a Team Rocket's hideout under the base, and Lance was there and he did the scripting thing with Dragonite, and he said, "Oh, are you Bane from Lake of Rage?" And then we went down to the stairs, and I was like, "But we haven't even met before." So then I exited, went to Lake Rage, but I couldn't get to Lake Rage because the guard was like in the way. So I think it might be a bug if you go into that building before going to Lake Rage, because then I couldn't do Lake Rage first. So I think I might have been like a couple levels below of what I should have been. Not a big deal really. Pokedex seems to be broken. I came across an Entei and I heard it pretty good. Then it uses Roar, of course, the bastard of a thing. And then I go check my Pokedex, and not in the original, which you can check your Pokedex and you can find what route they're on. When you change route or city, whatever, they will move. And it didn't show what area it was, which was a bit weird. So then I checked the rest of the Pokedex, and it said I had a Zapdos, when I know I don't. And then it says I have a Charmeleon and a Charizard, and I was like, what? I don't have any of these, so not sure what's up with that. But it's broken. The ability to register trainers on the phone is gone, which is good, so instead it's used as a versus seeker, which is really cool, so better basically. And then the berries and acorns will come back, which I never really cared or used them. The usual HMs are back, but Dive has been added in as well. On one hand it's good because there's more to explore, but now you've got Surf, Waterfall, Whirlpool and Dive. That's 4 water moves that you need now. It's ridiculous. And Dive is a TM. So it's one-time use, and somehow I lost mine. Don't know how that happened. Now onto the comparison to Omega. Liquid Crystal is definitely not as hard as Omega, but Liquid Crystal's difficulty is a tiny bit harder than the original, as most trainers now have a potion or 2 on them. Liquid Crystal's choice in Pokemon are nowhere near as extensive as Omega, but that's because it's staying true to the original. These are the Pokemon you can catch before the first gym, who has the flying Pokemon. You can have about 50 Pokemon caught before fighting Sudowoodo, just to give you an approximate number, maybe 55 maybe if you look hard. Liquid Crystal also has the physical and special attack change introduced in Gen 4, which is cool. There are some Gen 3 and 4 Pokemon, but I think most of Gen 4s are legendaries only. I'm guessing this is to help with choice, so for flying, if you don't like Pidgey or Hoo-Hoo, you can get Talolo, I think I'm saying that right. And then if you're sick of Dratini, you can get a Bargon instead, which is pretty cool. There are two things I really didn't like with Liquid Crystal. Basically, one, the moveset, and two, the gift Pokemon. So the movesets. Liquid Crystal uses Gen 2 movesets, and it's horrid. Execute and Executor don't learn any good moves. No Psybeam, no Psychic, or any good grass moves. Solar Beam is not a good grass move. Goldeen and Seeking don't learn any ice moves. No Aurora Beam, no Ice Beam. I didn't like the Give Pokemon because it gives you all Gen 2 starters, which is kind of odd considering you will already have one of the three, right? You just get them so late that you've already pretty much made up your mind on what 6 you're going to use. It's kind of odd the person chose Gen 2 starters to give out and not Gen 1. Because then, and a bit earlier as well, then it would give you a better choice. But maybe he was trying to stay, I don't know if you even caught the lore. Would you call it? I guess you would. Because like Squirtle, Bulbasaur and Charmander wouldn't be in Johto. They wouldn't be there yet. So I guess it kind of makes sense. Overall, Pokemon Liquid Crystal is very different compared to Fire Red and Omega. Liquid Crystal is a faithful remake, while Omega is a love letter to experienced Pokemon fans. Okay, thanks for watching. Liquid Crystal was pretty good. There's a couple things I forgot to mention. One, the old rod isn't for Magikarp, it's for I think Poliwags and Goldeens and other water Pokemon, which is pretty cool. The Charizard Pokemon isn't as huge as like the old rod in Omega, but it's still kind of decent. And you also get a Nugget and a Max Potion at the start. Now, I was thinking of the Nugget, maybe there was going to be a huge choice in Pokemon at the start of the game, and the Nugget would help you be able to afford to catch them all, but that wasn't the case, so I was a little confused why you get a Nugget at the start. There's also a shiny Ditto you can get from trading a regular Ditto, so I'm guessing that's for breeding. There's also an EV guy, where you show him one of your Pokemon, and it'll tell you its EVs for all its stats, so that's for the more hardcore people. So that's the things I forgot to mention. Also, it's a shame we didn't get to play Shiny Gold to really compare the two. But Liquid Crystal was like 2009, while Shiny Gold was like 2006. I don't know, I'd guess Liquid Crystal was like a tiny bit better perhaps. Some videos you might want to check out. There's an Elite 4 playthrough of Liquid Crystal. It was pretty easy. It was a bit of a shame really, like they're the default levels and I'd grinded to level 60 just before doing it. So it's way easier than Fire Red Elite 4. And speaking of Fire Red, there's a Fire Red Warbane Games video, check that out, it's pretty good. Fire Red Omega was probably my favourite so far, it was really fun. And there's also a co-op playthrough of Monaco, which is like this indie action game with stealth elements, sort of top down perspectives, pretty cool. So some videos you might want to check out, and thanks for watching.